Welcome to this study skills presentation on the importance of being critical in your academic writing. This presentation on how to write critically is part of a series of resources contained within our suite of study skills supports. This particular series is designed to help you understand how critical thinking is applied at a university level so that you will learn how to analyse ideas, evaluate arguments, and draw rigorous conclusions. So we've all had that feedback at some time or another, more analysis needed, or this work is too descriptive, or less description, more critique required. Well, if you've ever had this kind of feedback in your assignments, let's tackle this challenge. Assignment feedback can be improved by balancing writing with a more critical and analytical approach. And the initial recommendation for critical writing is to make sure that your reader is informed of the aim of your assignment and that you are clear about your objectives. This is the overall claim that you will develop throughout the assignment. Another imperative element of critical writing is to make sure that you persuade rather than inform the reader. Don't just describe what you've read in the academic literature and require that the reader makes up their own mind. You will also need to make it clear what the data means and how you've interpreted, thus making the argument credible. Without any attempt to influence or persuade, you're not making a case, you're just stating information. You need to be able to justify the inclusion of each point that you make to substantiate your overall claim and explain to the reader how this fits in with your overall argument so that you don't lose the reader along the way. To be credible, your argument must be balanced. It is vital that you consider alternative positions whilst justifying your own, and this will strengthen your argument. When referencing research, you must give academic opinions respectful acknowledgement, either because you're writing about the shortcomings in those claims or because the position has rigorous reasoning. In considering prior work, think about the research aims of the paper and how these were achieved. Analyse the methods. Consider how this will help your own research going forward. So what are the key takeaways? What was done well? What needs to be avoided? And what could you do differently? And moving into primary research write-ups. Regarding your own research, you must make sure your arguments are rigorous and relevant. They must be evidence-based and require the same level of criticality that you would when analysing the arguments of others. Show how the study relates to the prior literature. Is your evidence relevant to your project aim? Have you made the appropriate links to your claims? Are you persuading or just informing? And make sure your overall conclusion is clear and apparent. When concluding, you should not bring in any new information. You should have already let your reader know your intentions in your introduction. Each of the points in the main body of your argument should naturally progress towards the conclusion. And so to review these recommendations, read critically by making sure your sources are appropriate and relevant. Read with a healthy skepticism, deciding if you think the writer's arguments are strong. You should then be able to decide your own position on the issue and start your writing by stating your position. Aim to convince the reader that this is the best position by persuading rather than informing. And you can justify each paragraph with a closing statement to help the reader understand how each point relates to your overall arguments. Make sure you're balanced, acknowledging other viewpoints before arguing your own. Be critical about your own arguments brought forward, and make sure they stand up to scrutiny and that all points lead to a natural and expected conclusion. Thank you.